G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists do what they do.
Well, hi folks, welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, we are in Turadin in the Victorian countryside, next to the ocean, funnily enough, very close to. And we are with Brigitte Dawson today. Brigitte?
Hi.
Welcome along. We're actually, Brigitte and her partner Rob got a restaurant called La Casa Sortelli. And Brigitte actually has her studio inside the restaurant. It's very, very cool. Yeah. And people come in and they eat and they actually watch Brigitte work in the restaurant at the same time, which I think is quite amazing. Very cool. Now, your history, you really started to be involved in art at a very young age.
Yes.
Mum and Dad were very talented themselves. Your dad used to work with steel and weld. And from looking at your work, it's incredibly versatile. I mean, there's a number of things that you do. You've got a fine arts diploma as well. You did ceramics, and then you're working on a children's book at the same time, which we're going to look at later on as well. Where did the love for art actually start for you?
Oh, I think I was born with that. Yeah. I think a lot of people say that, don't they? But I was always drawing, and then at probably about 15 I wanted to start colouring, paint. And that from there I started the lessons. It was from Brian Nash, then to John Balmain, and he probably taught me the base, what I do now the rest of my life. Yeah. He was amazing.
But you do a lot of the iconic figures of our times in the past. I mean, Dean Martin.
Oh, I do a lot of portraits.
Buddy Holly. Yeah. I mean, they look great, those pieces. They're just quite amazing as well. Yeah. But meeting Rob, your partner, who used to be a concreter, but he actually came up with a formula for an epoxy resin as well.
Oh, it's amazing.
And it really is. It's really cool to watch this. And it's actually Rob's formula, his own formula. But you've got this sort of like, 11 herbs and spices in the formula that we can't say anything about. But Rob actually does the layering of the resin, and then you paint. Now, this is a piece that we're going to be working on towards today, whether we finish it or not, but this is where we're heading towards today. And this is actually aluminium. It's aluminium.
The base is a composite aluminium. Yeah. And then the epoxy.
That's fantastic. Well, what we'll do, we'll go and grab Rob, and he's going to take us through the whole process of putting the epoxy down, and then we're going to start on another finished piece. You're going to work towards this. If we finish it today, that'll be great. But let's go on the next one and go from there. Fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Well, we're with Brigitte's partner, Rob Corso, at the moment, and Rob actually prepares all of Brigitte's surfaces, makes them himself. That's aluminium. This is really cool what you've done here as well. It's amazing. But Rob actually invented a process with this epoxy. It's his own formula from years ago, and he actually is going to show us how to basically put this down, and then this dries and it cures, and then Brigitte actually paints on the top of that, and then after that they actually reseal it again. It's a really cool technique, but I'm going to hand it over to you.
Pass it over to me, yes.
How do we do this?
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put our special substance in the part B of the epoxy.
Special sauce. We can't tell them what it is,
No, we can't tell them what it is.
It's a secret.
Then I get my bar mix, as you can see. Yeah. And I mix them up. Now, what I do always is clean all my tools straight away. Yep. Because epoxy tends to dry very quickly.
And you got something on that cloth?
What I use to clean everything and to wipe my hands is IMS, which is industrial methylated spirits. Yep. And I always have that on hand for whenever I'm working. Okay. That way I can keep my site clean. Okay. And as you can see, I wipe my gloves so there's no epoxy anywhere. And then now what I do is I mix up my concoction of part A and part B. Now what I do is I measure my ingredients exact. We need to put our part B in first. And you should always mix your colour in your part B first.
Oh yeah?
Because if you mix the two together, put the part A, part B together, and then put your colour in, stir it, you have a tendency to change the viscosity of the epoxy. So there we've got the part B.
400 mil.
Now we put in our part A.
And this is sort of like treacle, isn't it?
This is like treacle, yes.
So what actually is this here?
It's the hardener.
Is it?
This is the actual hardener, yeah. And as you can see, it's...
So you need to get that up to 800 then?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so now what I've done is I've put the two parts together.
Yep.
Now I could use the bar mix to stir it, but I prefer to stir it by hand. And now we mix this for about 3 minutes until it's combined together.
So it's pretty amazing what you and Brigitte do, is you work together as a team as far as the art's concerned, and then you close the restaurant three days a week.
Yeah, we close Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and this is when we do our creations.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
So I cook Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I paint Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday.
He's an Italian Renaissance man.
Yes.
That's amazing. Initially, what was the idea of bringing because there's art everywhere, and obviously the studio here, which people can just come in and have a bite to eat and then stop and watch what Brigitte's doing anyway. So how did that come about?
Well, we went to Italy in 2010, and everywhere we went in Italy, there's art. And the art is on the walls, all the frescoes on the ceilings, on the walls. And we thought, well, isn't that a great idea? Because you come in here to eat something, and you get candy for the eyes, and that's the artwork. So we came back to Australia and thought, well, why don't we do the same here?
Yeah.
And it's worked really well. Okay, now that we've finished mixing it, we've combined the part A and part B. We now pour it onto our panel.
Yeah. It's got that beautiful pearl look to it. It's amazing.
And then I get my paintbrush, as you can see.
Which is a Bricky's
It's a conventional paintbrush, which is my concrete trowel. And bingo.
And literally you just
trowel it on.
Trowel it on?
Yes.
I think it looks like you've used a trowel before as well.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Just quietly.
It's an extension of my arm, is my trowel.
And this is level across the table, of course.
Yes, I make sure that all my panels are dead level so we don't get any spillage, because the spillage is quite messy. But you'll find that with epoxy, it tends to curl back from the edges.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get that problem.
Not going to, so if you take it to the edge instead of flowing over the edge?
Yes, yes. You have control of it.
And how long will that take to go off to cure?
Because the room's at 23 to 26 now, it'll take probably 45 minutes to an hour to dry.
Okay. Might have to come around the other side.
Yeah, I'll go around the other side and I'll carry this around with me. Okay. Now, with this epoxy, because it self-levels itself, as you can see, sometimes you do get air pockets in the epoxy. That's why you just use a toothpick. You go around and you just prick them and they'll pop them.
You can't beat having a great partnership through creativity.
No, you can't. That's correct. And this will be it. We now leave that to dry, and then Brigitte will do her magic.
Wonderful, thank you.
Fantastic, thanks.
And we'll move on to Brigitte now and get the rest of the picture going. Now, Brigitte, before we actually start on your piece for the painting that you're doing today, I really wanted to bring up a fantastic children's book that you've put together called Peek of You. And the illustrations in it are just magnificent. It's just wonderful what you've done. Tell me a little bit more about the book.
I paint a lot of murals and I do a lot of kids' rooms. And I was putting together an idea of a ready-to-go printed mural that people could buy, and it would be a lot less expensive than having a custom mural. My son's friend needed a gift and I said, why don't we give him a painting? And he thought I meant on the wall, and he said, no, he's renting. And I thought, there's another idea that it's good for, because if someone's renting, they don't want a picture on the wall. And I said, no, we'll do a hanging one. And that's how it started. So we did him a gift. So many people loved it. We thought, oh, maybe this is an idea. And it's probably been 4 years in putting together the 20 different murals. They come in 3 sizes, and they are all a window looking through to something that kids would, we think, relate to or love, or what we love anyway.
Yeah.
Because I had the 20, I thought, why don't we put them together in a book?
Yeah.
And this lady from Guernsey, Megs Bailey, I found her book and I loved the way she did her rhymes. I asked her if she would do the rhymes for it, which she said she would, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Then Shane does all the computer stuff,
Yeah.
you know, the technical stuff. So he's put the book together and placed everything and typeset it, and the front cover is this, which explains what the book and the whole series is about, which is Billy's drawing, where they say they're going to go, and Bo is painting the picture, and hopefully when it's finished they will step through it and be in this land. That's
cool.
where I want an animation to come into it.
That's really cool.
I had the characters made as well.
Yeah, I saw that over there too.
Yeah,
so.
and we've got quilts and
That's fantastic.
everything for a whole room concept for kids.
It's fantastic.
And love doing it.
Yeah, no, and they're really well executed as well. But
Thank you.
we're going to step back in the studio again.
Okay.
And let's start on this piece.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Bridget, now for the exciting part of the day. Now, we've never had anybody paint on this type of surface before, so it's very reflective and shiny anyway, but how do you go about putting the paint down on this?
Okay, so I've tried a lot of different mediums and I found that oil is the best way. You can use acrylic, but oil is the best way if you want to get some blending. But when you're using acrylic, try and mix it with metho rather than just water.
Okay.
Anyway, I use terps with the oils. I'm using Art Spectrum, and I use more of an acrylic brush because you're on such a shiny surface. It's got to slide nicely, so I use a soft acrylic type brush.
Yeah.
And really just keep the oil nice and almost like a watercolour, but using oil. And then I'll try and get some sort of sketch down. And if I put this here, you can sort of see what I'm doing. It's probably better.
That's a good idea.
Now where I know where I'm at. And you'll see also that because it's on with oils, I've got time to play with it and I've got time to move it around. It's almost, or sometimes it's a bit like sculpting with it.
And I wasn't aware that you use your fingers.
Oh yeah, I use my fingers a lot. But I've also got a big finger.
I wonder what that was for before.
I made a nice clean one.
I saw that sitting on the table and I thought that must be the end of a mole stick, but it's not.
No. So we'll get the sketch in.
Yeah, and you actually sketched this out beforehand.
I've put a few markers for myself because I knew it had to be like that previous one, so I didn't want to be off with my sketch.
Yeah. Yes, over the years you've done a lot of portraits. You've actually got a style that I think is really quite good. And you've actually taken like old photo albums and the covers of them and put them down on the backs of these particular pictures, and you've painted David Bowie and Janis Joplin, the 27 Club. You seem to have all of them in there. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Roy Orbison, Nat King Cole. I mean, they're just fantastic looking pieces. A lot of fun too. There's so much dynamic action going on in there.
Yeah, I like using lots of colour and big loose brush strokes. It just gives so much emotion to a picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So all I'm doing now is just laying a bit of colour on, and then I use my extra finger to try and get a bit of blending happening.
Right.
And that's why you need to use oil, because the acrylic, it just doesn't work like it.
Yeah. It's a really effective technique, isn't it? And is there anybody else that you know, because I've never seen this before, do you?
No, I haven't.
So how did you come up with this particular technique?
Oh, I think it was just trial and error. I would have a go at something and then, oh, that worked, or that didn't work, and it was quite a few tries before things would work. I made a lot of mistakes.
And tell me about the creation of some of the Asian pieces that you do. You've got some great pieces actually hanging in the restaurant and the studio. You've got one called Ancient Warriors.
Yeah.
How did they come about?
With the epoxy, it looks like a stone that's been cut. So Both Rob and I sort of got together and we thought, let's find some like almost carvings, so it looks like it was carved into the stone, and that's how it started. We found a couple of old Chinese books on art, and there was a couple of images in there that we really liked. They looked like they had been done many, many years ago and almost painted on rock. And we thought bringing in the industrial looking epoxy with more traditional sort of art would be a really great mix. I love the geishas and the dresses and the whole idea of cultural images.
I mean, I really love the technique. I just think it's amazing. They're big pieces as well. I think that's the reason they're so popular, that you sell everything you do with this.
They are big, and I think that it's more powerful when they're big. And yes, the photographing of them is the hardest thing, because they never look as good on a photo as they do in the flesh because of all the depth of the epoxy and the layers in it. You just can't see that in a photo.
Yeah, they're great paintings, they really are. And you've also got a fascination with the old masters as well.
Oh yeah, I love it. I think because I was taught that way, I had to copy them, that's how I had to learn. So I always feel like when I'm painting, say, Mona Lisa or the girl with the Pelicans, I'm in that artist's brain or mind, and it's just, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you've got one of the Venus de Milo by Botticelli.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's one of the murals that you do. And there's another one, the recreation of Adam. Whereabouts is that? That's on the ceiling.
That's in a restaurant in Frankston.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's on the ceiling. And part of the Sistine Chapel is with that too.
Okay. And over the last 30 years, you have also managed to do 200 murals, some of them really quite large. And you actually, part of your business is the Melbourne's murals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got one down at the Karingal skate park, is that correct?
Yeah. We work in collaboration with schools and the council, teaching kids legal street art, how to not tag, how they can do it legally, how to follow a brief, to be able to present their work and then show them and help them also with putting it onto walls. They've had a lot of fun with it. It's been really inspirational in how it changes some kids' view on street art, and it's very different now. Street art's become like, the walls are like big blank canvases for people to, paint whatever they like beautiful, big, amazing. It's not just graffiti anymore, it's just beautiful art.
And if you want to know more about the murals that Brigitte does, you can go to melbournesmurals.com.au and go in there and have a look at what she's got, because there's some fascinating stuff. And you've also completed murals for Channel 7, Fitness First, Channel 9, the Grand Prix, and the price. You used to do the backdrops for Price is Right as well.
Yes.
That's too much. That's so funny. Well done, bud. And you're also a very proficient sculptor as well.
I love to sculpt. I love carving marble. I did 2 years of bronze at RMIT. And I did another year of marble or stone carving at Holmes Glen with Andrew Patience. That was fantastic. And that's when I really wanted to go to Italy, and I heard all about these sculpture studios that were up there that you could go and get a piece of marble and start carving. It's just the best experience.
It's beautiful material, isn't it?
Yeah. Now to do the hair, I'm getting very wet. So lots of terps now. So with the hair, you use obviously the same oil with a lot more terps, because you want it to go on quite smoothly and be able to do long lines. And then you can always come into it after with a bit more detail with ragging it off.
And you pretty well painted this whole picture with one brush.
Yeah.
Just about. It's a very effective technique, I must admit.
I use a flat brush, a square brush, because I like either the flat stroke or the thin, long line strokes. So I can use this brush for most of the work until I need to use maybe a fine liner for some really fine bits of hair, or I might rub out and then I'll use the rag again. So it's mainly pretty much one brush, or this, it's almost like a makeup brush. It's a soft brush just to soften some of the edges.
You and Rob have done some extensive travelling as well, and part of what he was doing as a teacher, Rob was teaching people in all parts of the world how to do decorative concrete. Amazing stuff.
Yep, he travelled to Dubai and Japan, and he's done a lot of travel teaching. And it's all decorative. It's all laying things into concrete or stenciling. Okay, so I'm going to do the lips now, and I always like adding a bit of red. So I have the crimson red with the bright red, cad red, and then I might add some black for the inside where it's darker.
So you paint the red in,
Yep.
and then just rub the light out.
Exactly,
As you need to.
so simple.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to show this. A lot of people are doing epoxy, so they can have a lot of fun with doing it.
So particularly in your workshops, they can,
Yes.
they can come along and try this,
Yes,
and then learn the technique, and then actually rub it out and do another one the next day.
if they want, yeah.
Yeah. And you've also got a fantastic workshop area out the back of your studio. It's just quite huge and would hold, 30, 40, 50 people in there.
Yeah.
And you've got your original setup in there. It's a great place for your workshops, and you're conducting workshops out the back there,
yeah,
teaching
really
people.
good.
Yeah, it's a great area, it really is.
So I'm just blending the different reds where I've got dark and light.
So this is a fascinating technique. The fact that Rob puts the boards together, and you're doing something that's very, very individual, and you've got this fantastic workshop place out the back of where you are. If somebody wants to do one of these workshops, how do they get in touch with you?
By visiting or contacting us through the website, BrigitteDawsonDesign.com. This is most of the picture done. All I do from here is a bit of fiddling, tightening, a bit more work with the blending, the hair, but I don't do too much more. And because we've already finished one piece, you can sort of see where it's heading to with that. Then when that dries, a clear coat of epoxy gets put on that to lock it all in, which is in a week or two.
Great, really, really effective technique, dynamic work to say the least, and a fabulous day with two really creative people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Well, that was a fantastic day, Bridget.
Thank you, Graham.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us in your studio.
and thank you for coming.
It was wonderful. And here's the finished product again, and as you can see, there's another layer that's been put over the top of this. That's how they're really sealed off, aren't they?
That's right, with the epoxy again, but clear.
It's a fantastic technique. I'm just absolutely in awe of it. It's just amazing. It's one of those things, because I travel around the world so much doing this these days, you go, I've got to try that one. So, now also your book as well?
Well, the prints, the peak of view prints, there's a whole range in that that I do with my son Shane.
Yeah.
He has the concepts and I do the painting, and we're really proud of it and can't wait to do more with it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. The illustrations are fantastic. And Melbourne murals.
Melbourne's murals that I do with Melissa.
Yeah, which is great as well. I mean, they're sort of decorating the schools, the buildings all around the
Council,
place, which is wonderful. And they really are fantastic murals as well. And your website address is?
BrigitteDawsonDesign.com.
Fantastic. And I also want to put out a big thanks to Rob for his part in the show today, and for also cooking us a fantastic Italian meal at lunchtime. It was lovely. So if you want more information on what we're doing, come into colorinyourlife.com.au. We've got some great things going on these days. But as I always say, remember guys, make sure you put some colour in your life. Bye now guys.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.